A bit of a warm-up on the way. AJ has the timing of all the changes next at 10.
From a win to a big loss, Myles Garrett suspended indefinitely. Fans are sounding off about what's next for the Browns.
Plus, a business with Bigfoot, why a local realtor is enlisting the help of Sasquatch. The news at 10 is next.
I love that one.
I love it.
I love it.
It's easy to fall in love with a new Chevy.
I love this one too.
And this month is the perfect time to see why.
Wow.
I love it.
That's my next truck.
Find your reason to fall in love with a new Chevy and get a great deal all month long.
I love it.
I'm gonna go buy a Chevy.
Get 20% below MSRP on all 2019 Silverado double cab pickups. That's over $97.50 on this Silverado. Or during the Black Friday sales event, get 20% below MSRP on other select 2019 models.
The Fox 8 school closings are brought to you by Cross Country Mortgage. When the bad weather makes you stay at home, make sure you have the best mortgage for your home. Visit crosscountrymortgage.com/Fox8 today.
Four-time All-Star Francisco Lindor for your All-Star team at BigNissan.com.
A big home cooked thank you from all the turkeys at Nissan North Homestead and at 90 Nissan. Wishing you and your family happy Thanksgiving. BigNissan.com.
Are you kidding me?
It's that time of year again to help local children in need.
Join us for Operation Give and Treat on Wednesday, November 27th.
Presented by our friends, the Northern Ohio Honda dealers.
Bring an unwrapped gift or a gift card to Fox 8 Studio.
For more information, go to fox8.com.
Merry Christmas!
Alerting you first. Fox 8 News, your official school closing station.
Tune into the Fox 8 Sports Report, brought to you every day on Fox 8 News by Window Nation, because it's where you live.
Northeast Ohio's #1 choice for news. Cleveland's own Fox 8 News starts now.
When I saw that, I was like, wow.
It's just disappointing.
The win doesn't feel like a win. It feels like we lost. Because everybody's talking about what happened.
Big win turns into a huge loss nearly 24 hours later. Northeast Ohio was stunned by the actions and suspension of Myles Garrett. The Brown star is out indefinitely.
In a few short seconds, the Browns' dominance on the field went sour. Tonight, the strong reaction continues, along with debate over whether or not the punishment fits.
Fox 8's Suzanne Stratford is live now outside First Energy Stadium tonight. Suze, 24 hours later, people still talking about it.
Oh, Lou and Elizabeth, you know they are. I mean, the debate is raging on nationally and locally. People are wondering if the punishment does fit, being suspended indefinitely. I think everyone admitting what they saw on the field here, you know, was wrong, exactly what happened. However, people are also shocked because they say they can't believe Myles Garrett did not respond when he was sucker punched by a fan, but apparently just snapped.
Just unfortunate.
I'm sad.
I think our season's done.
A very bad day for Browns fans Friday, unable to enjoy beating the Steelers because of those last 8 seconds.
The last 8 seconds of the game went bad. The win doesn't feel like a win. It feels like we lost. Because everybody's talking about what happened.
The play that turned into a brawl between Browns defensive end Myles Garrett and Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph.
I mean, he was wrong for what he did, but at the same time, he was provoked.
Rudolph started it.
Opinions differ, but the video seems to show Rudolph grabbing Garrett's helmet as he's going down, then kicking him in the groin. Garrett responds by ripping off Rudolph's helmet. Rudolph runs over, and Garrett hits him over the head with the helmet.
When I saw that, I was like, wow, it's not good.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
That was, if he would have connected with the helmet, that could have been really tragic.
And a poor example for young athletes, say some parents Friday night in Brunswick, as St. Edward's faced Euclid in the Division I semifinals.
They're role models. They need to show and act like they need to belong and do the right things.
I mean, he's a professional. He should know better.
But also, being Browns fans, they say, they're not all ready to give up on the team just yet.
Team's got to move on. You got to build from there and go forward.
I mean, it is what it is. We won. Go Browns.
Go Browns indeed. So we'll see what's next. In terms of Myles Garrett, though, his future being suspended indefinitely, a lot of people felt like that might be a little harsh. Others feel it fits. And then there were others, as you know, Elizabeth and Lou, who said, what about the Steelers? I mean, shouldn't they be suspended perhaps a little bit longer or face a similar punishment? But, you know, all of that is still being sorted out, as we know. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as I send it back to you, back again, remembering just a few short weeks ago when that fan sucker punched Myles Garrett, and everybody was talking about what strong character he had because he didn't respond and what a good guy he is. And some say, you know, it's really sad to see people turning on him now.
Yeah, he certainly showed restraint in that incident back then. Suzanne, thank you very much.
Certainly lost it last night, though. Myles Garrett, not the only player facing discipline here. One of his teammates will also be forced to take a seat. In the meantime, multiple reports say Rudolph will not press charges in the wake of that incident. Fox 8's PJ Ziegler breaks down today's decisions.
Browns defensive end Myles Garrett's season came to an abrupt end on Thursday night after he pulled off Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit the Steelers quarterback over the head with it.
I made a mistake. I lost my cool, and I regret it. It's going to come back to hurt our team.
On Friday, Garrett released a statement through the team following his indefinite suspension and undisclosed fine from the NFL that reads in part, "Last night I made a terrible mistake. I lost my cool and what I did was selfish and unacceptable. I know that we are all responsible for our actions and I can only prove my true character through my actions moving forward. I want to apologize to Mason Rudolph, my teammates, our entire organization, our fans, and to the NFL. I know I have to be accountable for what happened, learn from my mistake, and I fully intend to do so." Garrett's teammate Larry Ogunjobi was suspended 1 game and fined for shoving an opposing player to the ground during the altercation.
You see somebody who's jumping on your teammate, who's kicking your teammate, they would do the same, you know what I'm saying, quarterback or not. When you start kicking people, when you start ripping off helmets, when you start putting people's head in the ground, like you're a player.
The NFL fined both the Steelers and the Browns $250,000 for Thursday night's incident. Jimmy and Dee Haslam issued a statement on Friday that reads in part, "We are extremely disappointed in what transpired last evening at the end of our game. There is no place for that in football, and that is not reflective of the core values we strive for as an organization." Steelers center Maurkice Pouncey was suspended 3 games for his involvement in Thursday's incident, and quarterback Mason Rudolph reportedly is facing a fine. The Browns and Steelers will face off in 2 weeks in Pittsburgh. In Cleveland, PJ Ziegler, Fox 8 News.
And of course, we'll have much more on the fight and today's decision by the NFL coming up a bit later on in sports. Stay with Fox 8 News and fox8.com for continuing coverage as the Browns work to move forward.
A victory tonight for parents, students, and community leaders who protested the closing of Cleveland's Collinwood High School. Today, the district CEO is recommending that the school get 1 more year to expand programs and increase enrollment. Kevin Freeman live now in the newsroom with a reaction to the revised plan. Kevin?
Well, Elizabeth, a bit of a reprieve. Last month, Cleveland School CEO Eric Gordon outlined a long-term plan that included closing several schools, including Collinwood High School. He says after hearing a lot of input from the community, he is reversing course and will not recommend closing New Tech West High School or Collinwood for now.
It's just not a high school. It's just not a place of education. It's an institution. It would be like taking the West Side Market out of Lorraine and West 25th.
Cleveland City Councilman and Collinwood High School alum Mike Polensek says the revised plan for the nearly 100-year-old school is welcome news. Friday, Cleveland School CEO Eric Gordon announced that he is delaying a recommendation to close Collinwood High and send the students to neighboring Glenville. Collinwood once held more than 3,000 students, but today the enrollment barely tops 200.
Over 300,000 square feet on 6 acres, 3 elevators, a 1,200-seat auditorium, Olympic-sized swimming pool, freestanding gymnasium, a football stadium. This is a massive complex.
The CEO says the 1-year delay would give the district and the community time to work together to expand programs, increase enrollment, and find other shared uses for the building.
The parents are not sending their children to Collinwood. Why? Because there's nothing there at the building.
Polensek says a Friends of Collinwood High School coalition would be created to help bring unique educational and vocational opportunities such as ROTC or culinary or arts programs to the school.
Could there be incubator space on the top floor of the building for small businesses? Possibly, we don't know. It's never been done before.
Because this is a historical building, you know, it's been around for a long time. Yeah, so I would say keep it. I think all the parochial schools have swallowed up all the students, and I think they need to have this school for those that can't afford or can't get to those schools.
If we're going to stabilize neighborhood, it starts with education.
Now, the CEO says the district is trying to place more students in higher performing schools and modernized buildings and address a surplus of empty seats, especially on the city's east side. So again, the CEO is withdrawing the recommendation to close New Tech West High School altogether. The rest of the plan remains in effect, which includes combining Glenville and Martin Luther King Jr. High Schools at Glenville. The Cleveland School Board is expected, Elizabeth, to vote on this revised plan on Tuesday.
It certainly seems like they are thinking outside the box on this one. Kevin, thank you very much.
All right.
An investigation underway to determine what caused a gas line fire and explosion in Pepper Pike. Around 1 this morning, flames shot sky high on Brainerd Circle, forcing evacuations, road closures, and resulting in no power for 500 homes. A Dominion Energy spokesperson says work was recently completed on the line as part of their pipeline infrastructure project. Power is restored to impacted neighborhoods. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Gas main is up to 20 foot deep in areas, and at this point there are some trees damaged that are a threat that could possibly fall.
City officials say once dangerous trees are removed, Dominion will start excavation to the pipe. They may use a camera underground to better determine how the fire started.
An outside investigation is underway after a police officer intentionally killed a raccoon by running over it with his cruiser. Shelby police responded to a neighborhood on Wednesday night because of a raccoon behaving erratically. On Thursday, the department said the officer made a judgment call that he felt was in the best interest of public safety. The police chief says he finds the video disturbing and is asking the Richland County Sheriff's Office to determine if any laws were broken there. He also insists no city vehicle will ever be used again to kill an animal.
I'm not going to necessarily make a judgment on a decision to destroy a sick animal, other than to say that if we are doing that, I think that we can do better. I think it's still an opportunity. And even if they think it's much ado over nothing, how does it affect them if we improve the way that we do it? I don't think there's a negative there.
Officers will also be given additional training on how to better recognize animal behavior.
It's that time of year today. The Salvation Army kicked off its annual holiday drive. All the money raised this season in those iconic red kettles will provide year-round support for programs to help kids in shelters, just to name a few. New technology this year will also make giving easier in some spots. All you have to do is touch your mobile phone against the sign above the red kettle to pay with Google or Apple Pay.
High tech's going to help right there. Well, still to come here tonight, the unexpected late career of a notorious suspect.
The wrestling thing, you know, it's hard to understand, but he was like trying to be a caricature of what people wanted him to be.
Tonight, in the final installment of Sam Shepard, Case Closed, a look at his tragic final years, including his time in the ring.
Precious memories of summers gone by, your chance to bid on a little piece of Cedar Point. See what's hitting the auction block.
Plus, put him on a diet and go away. A little boy comes home from daycare with a harsh note, the fallout from an employee's grave mistake.
Plus, using a Yeti to close the deal while a local real estate agent is betting on a little help from Bigfoot.
Plus, the playoffs continue, and tonight, JT, PJ, Danny, and Ken Carmen will name their Friday Night Touchdown Player of the Year. Stay tuned for all the highlights coming up right after Fox 8 News at 10 o'clock.
Real sports, covered by real Clevelanders. MGM Northfield Park presents The Rizzo Show. Sunday at 11 on Fox 8. And here's what's happening at MGM Northfield Park. For tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com or visit MGM Northfield Park's box office.
Lou and Liz and I were just chatting about all the stuff we have to do to get, and you may have this too, get ready for the impending winter, getting things winterized and put away. I have a hunch that my snowblower has turpentine in the gas tank. It could be in trouble there. We'll see if we can fire it up. But otherwise, it's a great weekend if you're planning on finishing up raking leaves, or like Lou, as he'll start getting his leaves in shape. You can see the cloud cover that ensued. This is the transit of Mercury. Look at that. That is the planet Mercury moving in front of the sun from the Earth's view on one of our telescopes, one of our many telescopes. And this event where Mercury moves in front of the sun, it's happened on Monday. Figured why it was cloudy today, so why not go above all that? This is not going to happen again until 2032. Isn't that amazing? Incidentally, Mercury is only 38% the size of the planet Earth, and there's a 900-degree temperature difference between when it's in the sun and in the shade. So I like Earth better. Right now, cloud cover trying to clear out a little bit, but I'd say right now there's some fog out of northwest Ohio. Could even have a few flakes off to the west. There's another heavenly event going on. We'll tell you what that is coming up. Temperature is not quite as cold. We'll detail the weekend forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, sir.
A former ambassador to Ukraine says she felt threatened by President Trump. That's just one revelation from the second day of public hearings in the impeachment inquiry of the president.
This time, lawmakers questioned a career Foreign Service official removed from her post last spring.
In my line of work,
there was a major focus on Yovanovitch's 33-year career abroad and her abrupt recall under President Trump. But it was something that happened online, not in the hearing, that's receiving all the attention.
You're never Trumper? No.
As former Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch was testifying, President Trump tweeted, "Everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. She started off in Somalia. How did that go?" Chairman Adam Schiff asked her to respond in real time.
Well, it's very intimidating.
I want to let you know, Ambassador, that some of us here take witness intimidation very, very seriously.
The White House press secretary said the tweet was not witness intimidation. It was simply the president's opinion, which he is entitled to. Democrats asked Yovanovitch to share how she felt about many of the events that led to her removal. But Republicans argued her personal feelings aren't relevant to impeachment.
This seems more appropriate for the Subcommittee on Human Resources.
But Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff wanted to make clear it wasn't a minor personnel issue.
Is it fair to say that other ambassadors and others of lesser rank who serve the United States and embassies around the world might look at this and think, if I take on corrupt people in these countries, that could happen to me?
I think that's a fair statement, yes.
President Trump is calling the hearings a disgrace.
I want freedom of speech. That's a political process. The Republicans have been treated very badly.
Sir, do you believe
Please.
your tweets and words can be intimidating?
I don't think so at all.
Impeachment hearings resume on Tuesday. We will bring you the latest as it happens. Stay with Fox 8 for complete coverage on the air, online, and also on the Fox 8 News app.
Still to come, more problems with speed cameras in a community notorious for them.
Traffic tickets turn into cases of mistaken identity. So why is the police office refusing to talk about them?
A night out on the town gets way out of hand for a group of judges. Why they've been suspended for what happened at a White Castle.
Download the Fox 8 app today and get breaking news, weather, and more, all on your smartphone or tablet. Presented by GanleyNissan.com.
I'm Amanda Berry. Please stop for just a second and look at your TV. I'm going to show you the face of a missing person. Nathan Francis is 34 and was reported missing October 11th after he didn't pick up his paycheck. The last time anyone remembers seeing him was a few weeks earlier at the Lantern Motel downtown, wearing a multicolored striped fleece jacket, jeans, and a green shirt. Nathan is 5'9" and weighs about 197 pounds and goes by the name Nate. If you've seen him or know anything that could help bring him home, please call Detective Durbin with the Cleveland Police Department at 216-623-2579. You can read about this missing case and others anytime on fox8.com. Share their stories and help bring them home. I'm Amanda Berry, Fox 8 News.
From all of us at the Nick Abraham Auto Mall, we wish you and your family a happy holiday.
Hey, nice setup you got here.
Thanks, Kev.
And I see you got rid of that old dish.
Yup, the new home wasn't complete until we got Spectrum. Thanks for letting us know.
How the kids liking the internet?
They're streaming non-stop, and we don't have to worry about data caps anymore. Right, guys?
Yeah, we love it.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for $44.99 a month with free modem. Call 1-833-623-4499. Get fast, reliable starting speeds of 100 megabits.
Wow, Glenn, your TV's bigger than you.
Look, Kev, with all this free HD, I wanted a huge screen to catch all my games.
Get Spectrum TV with more free HD and more free on demand for only $44.99 a month. Call 1-833-623-4499.
And the Spectrum TV app's on point. When the kids take over the TVs inside, I just come out here and stream my shows.
Best part, one bill and no contract. They even bought out our old contract for $500.
Thanks again for the advice, Kev.
Just looking out for my friends.
Tell your friends and switch to Spectrum Internet and TV for just $44.99 a month each. Call 1-833-623-4499.
You're not going to believe what you're about to see. Introducing the all-new 2019 Mazdas at Classic. The artful design will speak to you, and the inspired features will thrill you. And a test drive just might do something interesting to your adrenaline level. Mazda takes the everyday out of driving, and the new Classic Mazda takes the everyday out of car shopping. Right here at Route 2 and 615 in Menor. Learn more at driveclassicmazda.com.
It's that time of year again to help local children in need.
Join us for Operation Give and Treat on Wednesday, November 27th.
Presented by our friends, the Northern Ohio Honda dealers.
Bring an unwrapped gift or a gift card to Fox 8 Studio.
For more information, go to fox8.com.
Merry Christmas!
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm glad I got the flag. I got your flag. I'm glad I got the flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we're giving thanks all month long to our customers by offering huge savings on the car or truck you've always wanted. Right now, lease the 2019 Ford Fusion for only $187 a month, or lease the 2019 Ford EcoSport for $165 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Clickable Weather is brought to you by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
The Fox 8 I-Team uncovers yet another driver hit with a ticket from a traffic camera saying, "That is not my car."
It happened in Lindale. I-Team reporter Ed Gallick found the police chief there going to a new extreme to avoid our camera.
Can you come on out? I have another question about another apparent mistake on a speed camera ticket.
So we don't do those anymore.
What do you mean you don't do those anymore?
We're no longer giving statements or interviews in regards to photo enforcement.
The Lindale police chief hiding behind the glass saying he'll never answer another question about speed cameras. Lindale, notorious for traffic cameras, collecting about $1 million a year in fines. But now the chief believes he owes you no explanations, even about tickets that might be wrong.
Well, why are you avoiding the question? You drivers go through here every day.
The license plate on the citation is not mine.
I-Team reporter Peggy Gallick spoke to the latest driver calling out the camera system. Tom Stewart drives this car, says the ticket shows a car with a different license plate. Tom, a retired policeman, now investigating how he got a ticket.
The car is similar to mine, that's not in question, but the license plate is not even close to my license plate.
The I-Team has exposed other Lindale ticket mistakes, yet police have said they review all tickets before they're sent out.
In the past, the Lindale police chief has said he has no idea how many mistakes get made with traffic camera tickets. A contract calls for the traffic camera company to produce monthly reports about everything involving the tickets, but Lindale has said it's never received any reports, never asked for any either. And if you're reviewing these tickets, why do we keep seeing mistakes?
The chief, silent. But after we went there, Tom Stewart says officials reached out to him, and he's been told his ticket suddenly has been thrown out. Still, he wonders how many people pay tickets with mistakes.
It's just a moneymaker. I think if the person wasn't paying attention, they might nail the money.
Ed Gallick, Fox 8, I-Team.
And thank you. Still to come, the final years of Sam Shepard.
Look at how the suspect in one of Northeast Ohio's most notorious murder cases turned his fame into a wrestling career.
Plus, a teacher takes aim at his students, the alleged threat he made in class that has parents very concerned.
You guys are amazing! Make Christmas wishes come true with Fox 8's Operation Giving Tree. With your help, Children in County Care will receive a heartwarming gift. This year, you can drop off your new unwrapped toys on Wednesday, November 27th from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. right here in the Fox 8 front yard. Join Fox 8 along with the Northern Ohio Honda dealers and help make this a memorable holiday season. For more information and to view the complete shopping list of presents, visit fox8.com and click on the Scene on TV tab.
Your Fox 8 late night lineup is brought to you by Window Nation. For a free Massillon.
Watch Amy of The Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 7:30 and 11 on Fox 8.
Northeast Ohio's #1 choice for news. Cleveland's own Fox 8 News starts now.
Tonight, the final installment of Sam Shepard Case Closed. A look at Shepard's final tragic years.
Those years included a stint as a wrestler followed by a quick decline. As Fox 8's Bill Scheel reports, after winning his freedom, Sam Shepard would not live a long life.
Flanked by his teenage son Chip on one side, his second wife Ariane, and attorney F. Lee Bailey on the other.
Sam, give her another kiss. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sam Shepard appeared to have his life back after Bailey won him an acquittal at his second trial in 1966. But now, 53 years later, Bailey tells us what people saw was an illusion.
It was hard to figure out who Sam was at that point, and it was particularly hard for Sam to figure out who Sam was.
Shepard had spent 10 years in prison after being convicted in 1954 of the brutal beating death of his pregnant wife Marilyn in their Lakeside Bay Village home. Shepard maintained an intruder he struggled with in the home and later down on the beach was the real killer, someone he described later as the bushy-haired man. Standing with us near the lake behind where the Shepard home once stood, Bailey said a decade in prison took quite a toll.
Sam Shepard used to do 500 push-ups a day just to forget where he was.
His second wife, Ariane, was from Germany. Her older sister had been married to Joseph Goebbels, Adolf Hitler's propaganda minister. She became a pen pal of Shepard's while he was in prison and later moved to the United States and married him, and she saw his decline.
I never talked about his drug problem and his alcohol problem before he died because I always thought he could get out of it and he could start a new career.
Initially, after prison, Shepard returned to being a surgeon.
And he went right back into it, severed the iliac artery of a patient in a hospital in Youngstown, and the guy died. And his life at that point was falling apart, and it just kept falling.
I don't think he just could make it in the society that he inherited when he got out of prison.
Terry Gilbert represented Sam Shepard's estate, as well as his son, Sam Reese, at a third trial, a civil case, in the year 2000. Gilbert was visibly shocked when a jury said new DNA results he had offered were not conclusive enough to show Shepard was not guilty. The Shepard family always maintained his first conviction, and the decade in prison that followed ruined the life of an innocent man who spiraled downward even after his release.
The wrestling thing, you know, it's hard to understand, but he was like trying to be a caricature of what people wanted him to be.
F. Lee Bailey says Shepard was a champion wrestler while in prison. After he got out and facing medical malpractice suits, Shepard struck up a relationship with a wrestling promoter, married the promoter's 19-year-old daughter, and started to wrestle as Killer Sam Shepard.
The moniker he chose, the name Killer, does that say anything to you?
The whole thing was silly from our perspective. From a guy trying to hang on to a little piece of life.
He first wrestled in 1969, at one point reportedly drawing 4,000 spectators in Cleveland. His decline continued, though, until April 6, 1970, when Sam Shepard died in his Columbus area home at the age of 46. F. Lee Bailey was a pallbearer at his funeral.
Sam did something that caused his heart to stop. We all speculate on many possibilities.
Do you know what you think about it?
Yes, I think it was an excess of pills. Unfortunately, any physician becomes an addict, has an open pipeline. He can write his own prescriptions.
Sam Shepard's life never recovered from his decade in prison. In fact, Shepard later said that on the day he was found not guilty at his second trial in Cleveland in 1966, he had brought a gun into the courtroom to make sure he never went back to prison. Bailey, seated by Shepard, did not know at the time that he was armed.
And I'm not sure the gun was loaded. I never asked him, but he would start a situation where he would be shot down. It's called suicide by cop. It's not all that uncommon.
You could have been in the line of fire.
No. If he'd had a gun in the courtroom that day and I knew it, he wouldn't have had the gun anymore. Yes, if he got in the gun battle I could never see coming, there's the thing called the wrong place at the wrong time.
Was that the story of Sam Shepard's life? Was he a husband who was home asleep when he heard the sounds of his wife screaming and raced upstairs to confront her killer, who he later chased out onto the beach? Or was he her killer, who concocted a story to cover a murder? 3 trials reached 3 different verdicts: guilty, then not guilty, and at the 3rd trial, the civil case, not innocent. After Sam and Marilyn Shepard's bodies were exhumed for DNA testing for that 3rd trial, Sam's body was cremated, and their son, Chip, who'd been a boy asleep down the hall the night his mother was killed, had his parents buried in the same crypt in Mayfield Heights. You may always get a debate about whether Sam Shepard killed Marilyn, whether there ever was a struggle with a bushy-haired man not far down this beach. But 65 years later, those debates, like the Shepard case itself, now belong to history. Bill Scheel, Fox 8 News.
We have a series of podcasts available regarding Bill's series Sam Shepard Case Closed. You can find them on iTunes, Spotify, or another place you may listen to podcasts, and the entire series is on fox8.com.
So to come right here for you tonight, it is your chance to own a little piece of the park.
A sneak peek at some of the historic items that Cedar Point is auctioning off.
Plus, a mom's sweet note to her son turns really nasty. What he came home from with daycare that led to a big apology. AJ.
Has the snow forecast storm track shifted to the north? Well, that'll be interesting, and maybe more important, what about this? A comet. What does that have to do with our atmosphere? We'll let you know. The weekend forecast is next.
Closed captioning by Elk and Elk. When a trucking accident causes you serious injury, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
Notice a little haze out there in the atmosphere, and now the visibilities are actually reduced. In northwest Ohio, skies have cleared, and this is a time lapse from Put-in Bay. Clouds kind of hung tough there. This is a look at Storm Fox Doppler radar, and there is a front in our neck of the woods. Very weak weather system, but enough to irritate the atmosphere just a little bit. You can actually see right there a couple of areas of precipitation pushing through Geauga County, southern Lake County, moving out of Chesterland, south of Bainbridge, Aurora as well, and even on the west side. Look at that. Oberlin, Wellington, could be a little drizzle or a few rogue snowflakes. Don't they know they're not allowed? 34 at Barberton, 30 at Carrollton right now. Painesville, you're checking in at 31. Mentor, 34. 38 at Lakewood, Maple Heights, Garfield Heights, 31. Lorraine, 38 degrees. Trying to see if this cloud cover will finally clear tomorrow. May start out with clouds, precip not expected as that front dwindles, high pressure noses in. Most of the weather action southeast, our disruptive weather will stay there. Very weak weather system. We're really looking pretty decent actually for several days in a row. Dry weather expected. There is a chance that out west, believe it or not, the winds line up for a little snow out around Port Clinton and the Lake Erie Archipelago. That's a little reverse lake effect, I suppose. Otherwise, most of us seeing some sunshine. That'll be great. Then clouds move in. Why is the comet? What does that comet have to do with our atmosphere? Well, Temple Tuttle, last passing through this neck of the woods in 1998. It's been a little while since it's refreshed its debris, but it lights up the atmosphere when it hits very quickly, and definitely going to see that as it peaks Sunday night into Monday. The only problem is we have a moon up there that could certainly prohibit a lot of the viewing, but meteors 10 to 15 per hour, not out of the question. 24 to 30. Not the best night for viewing, I suppose, with partly to mostly cloudy skies. 35 to 40 tomorrow. We'll have brightening skies, a little milky sunshine, as they say in the business. 43
milky
on
sunshine.
Sunday. And I think Sunday will be the pick of the 2 weekend days as you put all your summer outdoor.
Yeah, you got to start doing that,
40,
right?
42 on Monday, Tuesday at 44. We've had like 1 day above normal in November.
Yeah.
It's really unheard of. Everything else has been below normal. Next chance of rain isn't until Thursday, and highs near 50.
Some time to pick up those leaves.
It's time.
All right, AJ, thank you.
Weekend duty for me. Fox 8 is your official school closing station. You know that, AJ, right?
Yes, I did.
Yep, when the weather hits,
times.
we have the closings and delays on air and line and on the Fox 8 News app.
And AJ also knew about this, our exclusive pinpoint school closing map. Yeah, see that? In just a glance, you can see which parts of the viewing area are closing schools and which parts are not.
Still to come right here tonight, a drunken night out takes a very dangerous turn.
And now find out the punishment facing 3 judges for what they did at a White Castle restaurant.
Plus, a teacher's threat is not sitting very well with parents, what he allegedly wanted to do with students who won't stop talking.
Plus, we are just minutes away from Friday Night Touchdown, the playoff edition. JT, PJ, Danny, and Ken Carmen from 92.3. The Fan will have high school highlights from all over Northeast Ohio, and they'll be naming their Player of the Year.
Fox 8 News in high definition is brought to you by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home. Your Fox 8 late night lineup is brought to you by Window Nation. For a free in-home estimate, go to windowNation.com.
Jerry. If you are a collector, listen up. You can now get a piece of Cedar Point. Hundreds of items from the park's Town Hall Museum are hitting the auction block next week. Fox 8's Matt Wright has a preview.
Stepping into Gray's Auctioneer is a bit like stepping into amusement park history, with items here dating back to the 1800s.
It's not the sort of stuff we normally do, but we went out there and we saw all this cool stuff.
They're one-of-a-kind pieces of Cedar Point history being auctioned off to the public Monday.
Grandma's predictions.
Gray's Auctioneers owner Serena Harrigan says some are antiques collected by Cedar Point and displayed in its frontier town Town Hall Museum. Others are arcade games once used in the park.
I think it will appeal to anyone that's ever been to Cedar Point. I also think it appeals to video arcade game specialists, people that like to tinker, put things together.
Bidding for items starts at $10 up to $100,000 for this 1904 steam fire engine. Larry Davis collects amusement park games and came to see what's on the auction block.
Never saw anything like this.
He says he remembers some of the games from childhood visits to the park.
The first things I liked are the games, whether it's the horse racing, football, baseball. That's the kind of thing I would collect more than anything else.
Harrigan says Cedar Point is planning to put proceeds from the auction toward a new town hall museum focused on the park's history.
This is the first time they've ever auctioned anything off in 150 years. It's a once in a lifetime.
The auction takes place Monday morning at 11, but you can come preview the items up for bid through the weekend. In Cleveland, Matt Wright, Fox 8 News.
Plenty of neat finds there. Thank you, Matt. 3 Indiana judges have been suspended after a drunken brawl and a shooting at a fast food restaurant just hours before they were set to attend a conference in Indianapolis. The judges were out drinking and reportedly tried to walk to a strip club. When it was closed, they went to a White Castle instead. 2 men were said to have shouted at the judges, which resulted in a fight and shooting. The Indiana Supreme Court has temporarily suspended the judges without pay.
Parents at a Pennsylvania school district are voicing their concerns after a teacher is heard on a recording threatening to shoot students. In the recording, the teacher says to his class, quote, "I used to tell my students that I wish I was allowed to shoot 1 person a year." The teacher went on to say he would shoot the first person who talks after he tells the class to stop talking, and the rest of the year would go smoothly. One parent says this is no joking matter.
A teacher that's working with children understands sometimes children can get out of hand, but you should never ever make any of that type of threats. I want my daughter to be protected. You know, I mean, not only my daughter, but other children as well.
School officials released a statement to parents saying they are extremely concerned about the comments made to the class. The teacher has since been suspended.
The Texas mother is outraged after she put a sweet note in her 5-year-old son's mailbox, his lunchbox, only to get a nasty note from the daycare in return. The mom had recently made diet changes for her son's lunch and wrote this note to be supportive, asking the workers on Tuesday, please tell my son that his mommy loves him so much and that I'm thinking about him. Well, that same note came back in the lunchbox that night and had this written at the bottom: no, put him on a diet and go away.
To know that a grown-up that knows how hard life is and how mean people can be can say something like that, especially about a child, is they're sick, there's something wrong.
Well, there was some action. The mother alerted the daycare, who then investigated and told her the employee never intended for her son to see what was written. The employee admitted to writing the message and was fired.
Still to come, doing business with Bigfoot.
They really are. Why a local realtor is enlisting the help of Sasquatch to help get a house sold.
Plus, the Browns forced to move forward without Myles Garrett. Next in sports, how team ownership is responding to the suspension.
Fox 8 News is brought to you by Union Home Mortgage. Get a mortgage you can rave about.
Wake up with Wayne Dawson and Christy Capel. Weekdays on Fox 8 News in the morning.
A local realtor is getting creative to sell a vacant property.
She recruited some help from Bigfoot. The Newton Falls lot has been on the market for a while, so Shauna Bailey and her husband came up with a plan. Around Halloween, she bought a Bigfoot costume and had her husband wear it for some photos to promote the property. Shauna says she has received a lot of responses from potential buyers, which are mostly positive. However, she says some were startled, not expecting to see Bigfoot as they scrolled through the photos.
In sports tonight, as we told you at the top of the hour, the Browns will be without defensive lineman Myles Garrett for the rest of the year. Garrett was suspended indefinitely by the NFL after striking Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph on the head with his own helmet. The brawl occurred after Garrett sacked Rudolph, and the quarterback tried to grab Garrett's helmet and kicked him. Garrett spoke with his teammates today as the NFL handed down the suspension.
Myles and I visited for a long time this morning, and on a personal level, that's what I want for Myles, is to understand that it's the ball's in his court on how he responds to this. It's up to him on showing people and showing the National Football League that that's not who he is.
Myles Garrett released a statement today. It says, in part, last night I made a terrible mistake. I lost my cool, and what I did was selfish and unacceptable. I know that we are all responsible for our actions, and I can only prove my true character through my actions moving forward. I want to apologize to Mason Rudolph, my teammates, our entire organization, our fans, and to the NFL. Dee and Jimmy Haslam also released a statement apologizing to Mason Rudolph. It continued, Myles Garrett has been a good teammate and a member of our organization and the community for the last 3 years, but his actions last night were completely unacceptable. We understand the consequences from the league for his actions. Talking about the Buckeyes now, Ohio State will be back in action tomorrow minus Chase Young. Young will serve the second game of his suspension for breaking an NCAA rule by accepting a personal loan. The Buckeyes will be taking on Rutgers, should win that easily at 3:30. They're currently a 52.5-point favorite. Ohio State is undefeated and ranked second in the latest college football playoff rankings, and it is we're almost there, the football playoffs. It is week 2 right now. Friday Night Touchdown has you covered. JT, PJ, Danny, Ken Carmen will have all the scores and the highlights, and we will also unveil their player of the year right here on that set with those guys tonight. A playoff edition and a big one. Friday Night Touchdown coming up right here in just a few minutes.
Are those tongs?
Tongs? Were they tongs?
Yeah, they are tongs. They're playing with tongs.
That's dangerous when those guys are playing with tongs, right?
Oh, there you go.
Rare and ready to go. Once Danny Coughlin is in the mix, oh boy.
Mayhem.
Oh, bets are off. Temps on the chilly side, 37 is it for tomorrow, and we're expecting sun through the weekend. Next chance of rain is Thursday, guys.
Guys are making too much noise over there, so
yeah.
it's time for us to go. That's it for us. Fox 8 News at 10. Morning show starts 7 a.m.
Have a great night, and thanks for watching.